Vamos a leer este libro juntos. Bueno, voy a tratar de empezar a leer. Se llama How to be Adult in Relationships. The Five Keys to Mindful Loving de David Richo. Rico, no sé cómo se lee el apellido. Vamos a empezar. Dice aquí Forward. This book brings the mystical down to earth to the world of relationships that we all navigate from birth to death. In How to Be an Adult in Relationships, David Rico provides an operational guide to effective relationships that's as gentle and precise as his own presence with his students and friends. Through the reliable spiritual practices of mindfulness and loving kindness, readers embark on a journey that leads to awareness, joy, and deep relating. Mindfulness is an ancient meditation mode in which we let go of our fears, our attachments, our cravings, our expectations, and entitlements and our judgments of others. Instead of these habitual strategies, we learn to simply stay present, openly in the moment, with nothing in the way, so we can experience life as it occurs. When we apply mindfulness to our relationships, we can finally see ourselves and others as we are in all our touching vulnerability and with all our rich potential for love. In the spiritual practice of loving kindness, we expand our awareness of others in an immense, tender, and caring way. We journey beyond our own personal relationships and embrace the wider world. We learn to extend our love to everyone around us, even those to whom we are indifferent and those we find difficult. Through loving kindness, the romantic union between partners ultimately embraces the world. At one point in this book, David says, we can expand our consciousness of giving and receiving love. In my experience, counseling couples and training professionals, the question always emerges: how can we expand our capacity to handle more love and positive energy so we don't continue to sabotage any advance? We, my husband, Gay, and I, call this the upper limits problem and the ultimate human challenge. This book shows just how the wandering ripple of love can flow more freely within and between us all. David Rico lays down the stepping stones from personal love to universal love. The spiritual practice in how to be an adult in relationships are not adjuncts to psychological work that fulfill it. David Rico offers an important new synthesis in the self-help movement, practical, spiritually grounded in way the poet Ted Lauder calls treasures of joy, of friendship, of peace, hidden in the fields of the daily. David's examples, and especially the many opportunities he gives to practice these shifts of perspective and action, deeply support the reader's evolution. We find a new place to stand together in equality. Clear markers guide us toward a compassionate life in which human beings finally grow up to become stewards from each other and our larger home. Not only can our relationships work for our ground, but for the world's evolution too. I invite you to be moved by these waves of possibility. Vamos a leer otro poquito. Preface. Hay muchas palabras que luego no pronuncio bien. Pero bueno. To the 20th Anniversary Edition. I'm touched and delighted to welcome this 20th anniversary edition of my book, now at a quarter million copies in 12 languages. Over these years, I have been deeply gratified by responses from people all over the world about how my book has helped them. This has meant so much to me since I write as a spiritual practice with the intention of sharing what I have learned for the benefit of others. I'm thankful my words have connected with so many people. And even more amazing grace is the bond I felt between readers and me. That is what I cherish most of all. The original of this book was in my conviction that relationships, like anything else of value, require tending. They do not improve or even last on their own, since they are not self sustaining. They require upkeep like gardens, cathedrals, and bodies. Tending combines ongoing psychological work and spiritual practice on the part of all concerned. This book is meant to be a maintenance manual. Okay. It shows how we can lovingly tend or tender bonds so they can thrive. A relationship prospers when we don't give up on love, no matter what, and we keep upgrading and repairing too. The topics of this book are geared to help us in this beautiful enterprise. Esa palabra no sé cómo se pronuncia. Es Geared. Geared. Bueno. In this book, we'll look at what trust entails, how our childhood figures into our choices and actions, and our fears of intimacy or commitment. How relationships go through phases, how the self centered ego can bow to muting the importance of showing and responding to feelings and honoring boundaries, working out conflicts, remaining mindful and heartful in communication, and nourishing our commitment by a daily giving and receiving of the 5 A's of love: attention, affection, appreciation, acceptance, allowing. Such challenges don't have to scare us. We can handle them with the help of some guidelines and recommendation. What I hope this book offers: everyone has the capacity to love. Anyone can learn how to do so generously and effectively. That is why we do not need to be afraid to embark of the journey of relationship. The present edition contains the material of the original edition with a few changes. Each chapter is still here, but the book is no longer divided into 3 parts. The discussion of anger is now included in chapter 5 when conflicts arise, and the chapter when relationship ends is now the last chapter of the book. I have done some modernizing of the text and upgraded some concepts. For instance, today we might use the word caregivers, who are not always parents. We see a variety of relationships styles. For example, polyamory instead of just couples. Likewise, online dating is also much more common rather than meeting only in person. We communicate through text and social media and not just by email or phone. Even with these changes is how our relationships form are sustained. The core message of this book remains the same. We can all find love in our lives and grow in how we express it to ourselves and others. I have not specifically addressed all the changes in the relationship world in this edition, as I wanted to preserve the overall purpose of the book to explore the heart. Oh my god, let's talk about it. And soul of relating rather than to cover all the new shapes relationships are taking. There are many other books available now that address contemporary styles of meeting, of design, a bond, and of all the other possibilities we now behold in the new landscape of relationships and of how we self identify. Hopefully, the message of how to be adult in relationships holds true and offers wisdom for anyone seeking to grow loving relationships. We need 10 years after the original publication of this book, I experienced and expanding my own sense of love and relating, especially spiritually. This became how to be adult in love, letting love in safe and showing in recklessly. Recklessly. It it is my follow up to this book, and I warmly it recommend it to you future reading. May this and all my work benefit you and all beings. What have we ever more or better than our life together? That's it.